Welcome to The Explainer. I'm your host, and today I am stepping in as your personal biology expert to help you absolutely master O Level Biology. We're tackling Chapter 8, Human Nutrition. If you're a focused learner looking for a structured, deeply detailed, and, most importantly, memorable breakdown of this crucial chapter, you are in the exact right place. We are going to cover everything you need to know to completely ace your exams, and I'll be sharing detailed breakdowns of the key concepts along with my absolute favorite memory tricks. Let's get started. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our map for today. We'll start with the essentials of a balanced diet, move into nutritional deficiencies, map out the digestive tract, break down physical and chemical digestion, and finally, look at the anatomy of teeth. Section 1, the essentials of a balanced diet. So, a balanced diet contains all the essential nutrients your body needs, but crucially, in the exact correct proportions to maintain good health. Think about your daily meals. You need a solid amount of fruits, vegetables, and fiber-rich carbohydrates. Now, what's absolutely vital to remember for your O-levels is that even though your body cannot actually digest fiber, it is completely essential. Why? Because it forms a roughage. Your intestine walls literally need this roughage so they have something solid to push against when moving food along the alimentary canal. It is a really good idea to lock these key nutrients and their dietary importance into your memory for exam revision. I want to give you a couple of massive pro tips here. First, think about lipids, or fats. They're total powerhouses that actually provide twice as much energy as carbohydrates. And second, when it comes to proteins, don't just write growth on your exam paper. Remember that proteins are vital for forming structural tissue, and they literally build your enzymes, hormones, and antibodies. But you might be wondering, what happens when we fail to get these nutrients in those right proportions? Section 2, the dangers of nutritional deficiencies. When the diet is unbalanced, it leads to malnutrition, and the physical effects can be severe. Take a condition where the leg bones bow outward significantly compared to a healthy skeleton. This is caused by a deficiency in vitamin D or calcium. Here is a handy memory trick for your exams. Vitamin D is for deformed bones. You see, vitamin D is essential for your body to absorb calcium. Without it, the bones become soft, they deform under the body's weight, and patients suffer from really frequent fractures. It's a condition known as rickets. Now, what's really interesting here is the systemic effect of a vitamin C deficiency. I want you to use this C memory trick for this one. Vitamin C is found in citrus fruits, it's essential to build connective tissue, and a lack of it causes a disease called scurvy. Scurvy is brutal. It's characterized by swollen, bleeding gums and wounds that just take incredibly long to heal. Then we have iron deficiency. Iron is absolutely critical because it is a core building block for hemoglobin in your red blood cells. Without enough iron, your blood simply cannot carry oxygen effectively around your body. The result? Intense fatigue, dizziness, constant headaches, and just a total lack of energy. These are the classic textbook signs of anemia. Section 3, mapping the digestive tract. Okay, so we know exactly what we need to eat to avoid malnutrition. But how does that food actually get from our plate into our blood? Here is a fundamental concept for O-level biology. The food we eat consists of large, water-insoluble macromolecules. In that state, they're of absolutely no use to your body because they physically cannot cross the epithelium of your intestines. Digestion is required to convert these large, water-insoluble substances into small, simple, soluble substances. Write those exact exam-critical keywords down. They have to become small, simple, and soluble so the nutrients can finally be absorbed into your bloodstream. To make this happen, your body follows a highly precise 5-step chronological journey. Use this as your mental checklist. Step 1 is ingestion, simply taking the food in. Step 2 is digestion, breaking it down. Step 3 is absorption, moving those newly digested nutrients into the blood. Step 4 is assimilation, where your cells actually utilize those nutrients for energy and growth. And finally, step 5 is egestion, getting rid of the undigested waste. Today, we are zooming in deeply on step 2, digestion. Section 4, physical and chemical digestion. Digestion actually happens in two completely different ways, and we need to explicitly contrast them. First, you have physical digestion. This is the mechanical breakdown of food into smaller pieces, but with absolutely no chemical change to the food molecules themselves. Its main job? Simply to massively increase the surface area of the food. Chemical digestion, on the other hand, is the actual breakdown of those large macromolecules into small, soluble molecules, and this process relies entirely on the action of enzymes. Think about it like this. Physical digestion is literally like chopping a big sandwich into tiny cubes. It's still a sandwich, the ingredients haven't changed, but now it's in much smaller pieces, which gives your chemical enzymes way more surface area to attack. Chemical digestion, on the other hand, is like taking a pair of molecular scissors, these scissors being your digestive enzymes, and literally snipping a massive, complex carbohydrate chain down into tiny individual sugar molecules that your body can easily absorb. Speaking of those molecular scissors, you absolutely must memorize these specific word equations for your exams. Walk through them with me. First, the enzyme amylase breaks down starch into simple sugars. Second, protease enzymes break down proteins into amino acids. And third, lipase enzymes break down lipids, which are fats, into glycerol and fatty acids. Now, a quick tip. You'll often see the enzyme names written above the reaction arrow. That's because they act as biological catalysts. They speed up the reaction, but they aren't consumed or changed by the equation itself. Section 5. The anatomy of teeth. Let's zoom all the way into the very first step of physical digestion, the mouth. It's fascinating how the positions of our different teeth perfectly match their changing shapes as you move from the front of the jaw to the back. You've got your incisors sitting right up front, flanked by slightly pointier canines, which then lead back to the premolars, and finally, those massive molars sitting deep in the back sockets of the jaw. To easily memorize their specific shapes and functions for your exams, I'm going to share a massive memory trick with you right now. Think of it like this. Incisors act like scissors. They are chisel-shaped, perfect for biting and cutting off pieces of food. Canines are like canine dogs. They are pointed, meant for tearing and holding onto food. And finally, molars are the massive mills. They have these large, flat surfaces with heavy ridges that are specifically designed for serious crushing and grinding. Let's see how this all builds structurally. A tooth is basically divided into the visible crown above the gum line and the hidden root down below. The outermost layer is the enamel, and incredibly, this is literally the hardest substance in the entire human body. Right below that incredibly tough exterior is the softer dentine, which forms the main bulk of the tooth. Deep inside is the pulp cavity. This is the living part containing sensitive nerves that shoot sensory information to your brain, plus blood vessels to nourish the tooth. Finally, down on the root, the enamel is replaced by cementum, which acts like glue, securely anchoring the tooth into your jawbone. So the big takeaway here is that the human digestive system is an incredibly robust, deeply interconnected machine, but it relies on a really delicate balance of nutrition to function properly, which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative question to ponder. If tooth enamel is literally the hardest substance in the entire human body, how can our daily diet eventually wear it down to cause decay? And what happens when the very chemical enzymes we rely on to digest our food start working against our own bodies? I want you to think critically about that as you review your Chapter 8 notes. Keep studying hard, stay focused, and I will see you in the next explainer.